Well, good morning, guys. Three bold takes yet again. We're doing all the bowl games. All right, so they're coming at a rapid pace here. We've got Georgia State, we've got Utah State, and the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Great name, one of the better names in terms of bowl games every year. Georgia State is a 1.5-point underdog in this game. At least that's what it opened up at. Currently, Utah State is a 3-point favorite. Chase, let's send it over to you first. Who do you like to win this game?
I think I'm gonna go Utah State here. I think Georgia State has had a really good season. I think they've played very well in the Sun Belt. However, just a losing streak on the back end. I think in their back seven, it looks like 8 games actually. They won 2 of those games. That's very tough to end the season on. So a lot of their success came early and against out of conference opponents. And so that's a huge hit there because when you look at their conference opponents and just getting absolutely dragged through the mud against a bunch of them, again, this is a great conference. You got James Madison, you got Appalachian State, you got Georgia Southern, you got a lot of good teams, Troy as well. But if you were getting dragged through the mud on almost all of those, it's very tough to come in and say, okay, we're going to win this bowl game. I'm going to go Utah State. Quinn?
Yeah, you look at, like you said, Georgia State, they play in. I frankly, this was the team that when I was looking through the Sun Belt East teams, I was shocked that they made a bowl game because I do remember constantly seeing them losing conference games. It's not like I'm not going to pretend like I was watching Georgia State football in the first 4 weeks of the season. That wasn't happening. Um, so to find out they were bowl eligible kind of surprised me. But again, you look at the side there that you want to talk about battle tested: App State, Coastal Carolina, Marshall, uh, James Madison, and then you had the unfortunate luck of also drawing Troy from the West. That's tough. However, Utah State is one of those G5 schools that's constantly making bowl games, and it's because there is a strong like leadership presence and like winning culture at that level in Utah State. I mean, you think about like the state of Utah. It used to be all G5 schools in BYU, Utah State, Utah, and that was a three-way war for top program. And it was that way for years. It's just recently when Utah and BYU kind of left them behind. This team, on top of that, you've got the geographical advantage. The game is in Boise, Idaho. So it's not normal that the Sun Belt teams have to travel that far. Georgia State's going to have little to no fan engagement in the actual stadium. Plus, I think they might be the least talented Sun Belt team in the entire postseason. So give me Utah State to win.
Yeah, Quinn, I always like letting you go either first or second because you offer the deep analysis here. And you obviously have a lot more knowledge than we do on the G5 schools, which has always impressed me. The only thing that I have about picking this game is I do know that Utah State year in and year out are constantly making bowl games, and they choose to play teams that are better than them, right? Like I know that Georgia State played LSU this year, but it seems like Utah State is never afraid to play somebody that is a higher classification and will give them a game. Although they did get beat 45-10 by Boise State. But Georgia State, man, losing your last 5 games, and really the only close game was against Old Dominion, 25-24. Every other game, of course, you throw in LSU, every other game was a blowout, man. I mean, just embarrassing. So I'm taking Utah State in this game as well. Sucks for Georgia State that they're going to go on a 6-game losing streak to end the season, which is wild. But give me Utah State.